Good evening, and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Mayor and Council. Today is July 15th, 2014. I will read the Open Public Meetings Act to begin our meeting. I hereby announce and request that such be included in the minutes of this meeting, that notice of the time, the place, and the date of this meeting has been prominently posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, mailed to the Times, the Star-Ledger, the Courier News, the Patch, and the Alternative Press by January 10th, 2014, filed with the Borough Clerk, and mailed to any person requesting the same in accordance of the Open Public Meetings Act. I would like for those who are here tonight to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would ask that you remain standing as we have tonight's invocation read by Mrs. Eleanor McGovern, our Borough Administrator.
We celebrated our nation's independence on July 4th and remember the sacrifice of the men and women, protecting our sacred heritage, our rights, duties, and freedoms. Every time we are with our families, caring for our homes, teaching our children, we celebrate this heritage. Tonight we continue to celebrate our life, health, family and friends, freedom, peace, and good governance. We ask you, Lord, for the strength to preserve and protect the rights and freedoms you have blessed us with. We ask that you empower us with your spirit to accomplish your will. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Mrs. McGovern, may we have a roll call, please, to start tonight's meeting?
Kevin Boris.
Here.
Russell Yugo.
Present.
Tom Krantz.
Here.
Daniel Levine.
Here.
Catherine Mitchell. Here. Jack Molinor.
Here.
Mayor Moore.
Here. I want to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. It is a muggy, rainy day in the middle of July, and for those of you at home, we have a pretty full house for one of our summer meetings. And tonight is a really good meeting for us because we are going to be drawing attention to a Fanwood resident who has served our community for really decades, and we're also going to be welcoming a new face to our Fanwood Police Department family. And with that, what I'd like to start for is just we have a motion to accept some minutes, please, of some meetings that we've had. June 17th, 2014.
Motion to accept the meetings from June 17th, 2014. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. I'm going to go over to the podium now, and we're going to do some of our appointments and presentations and swearing in. At this time, I'd like to call up our Fanwood Fire Police Chief, Richard Trigo. Tonight, we are going to be welcoming, as I said, a new member of our police department back into our community. We recently had a retirement of Captain White, and that had opened up an opportunity for the Fanwood Police Department to bring in a new officer. And after we had gone through an interview process, there was a candidate that was selected with the input of the council and the chief who oversaw this process. What's really nice about tonight is the officer that we're swearing in is homegrown. He basically grew up in Fanwood. His family has long ties to our community, and he comes from a family that has served Fanwood, Union County, and really is part of the fabric of our community. So I know the chief and I could not really be, and speaking on behalf of the council, really couldn't be any more pleased that we will now have an officer that will be patrolling our streets, who knows the streets like the back of his hands, who knows the residents, who is a familiar face to many and has a name that many also know. So I'd like to call forward Daniel Krantz, and I'd like to call forward his parents who are here tonight to help him get sworn in. Daniel is a graduate of Rutgers University, and he is also a former dispatcher He started off as a dispatcher in Fanwood's dispatching department, and when Fanwood went over to Union County to have the County of Union handle our police, fire, and rescue, Daniel went over there, and he did a wonderful job. And at that time, Fanwood was the very first community out of 21 in Union County to go over to the county to handle dispatching. So he really was there on the ground floor for us, and what made, I think, us very comfortable was that he knew our community, so that when the 911 calls got dispatched, and they weren't coming here anymore, but going into the public safety building in Westfield, there was really a sense of peace for us to know that on the other end of the phone was a young man that we knew was quite capable of handling our calls in this transition period. Daniel then most recently, when he left Union County, he went down to Washington, D.C., and was a police officer with the United States Capitol Police Department. So he'll begin his training, because he has to go into the training here for New Jersey with the John Stanley Police Academy on the 18th, Monday. So it really is a wonderful opportunity for us. And here in the council chambers, for those of you at home, we have members of the police department that are here to show the support for Daniel and his family, as well as the chief. Chief, before we swear in?
First of all, before we swear in Dan, I'd just like to say to the council, mayor and council, and Mr. McGovern, and also the CFO, Fred Tompkins, I've been chief now 5 years, and you've always supported the police department, and you've always made public safety a paramount issue. So again, I know I sometimes sound like a broken record, but again, I thank you, and members of the police department, the women and men of the police department, appreciate all you do for us. And getting to Dan. Dan was a special kid when he came in as a dispatcher, and he went down to county. You could just tell that he had what I'd call like the policing blood in him, because it's a lot of times we spoke about it, and just in talking to him, he always would say he'd always was looking to get on the police department. And when you pick up and go to another state to become a police officer, that shows that you have the drive and the integrity and the character that to be a police officer, which I consider the greatest profession in the world, the most honorable. And now Dan's going to be a member of the Fanwood Police Department, and I couldn't be more ecstatic that that we're going to get him. So Dan, congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
And I'm sure at the when he starts the academy, that he will have no problems in the police academy, and he will rise to the top as he always has. Again, thank you, Mayor and Council, for your continued support on behalf of the men and women of the Fanwood Police Department. It's very much appreciated.
So Daniel, why don't you come forward with your parents? Mom, you want to hold the Bible? And that's you, and repeat after me. I, Daniel,
Kranz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of a Fanwood police officer.
of the
Office of the Fanwood.
office
Fanwood police officer. According to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So
ability.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and welcome. Thank you. Good luck. So as we welcome a new face to the family here within the local government. We also each month take a time to draw a little attention to a resident or someone who does some things for Fanwood that we feel is deserving. And we've been doing our Volunteer of the Month probably for
A few years, maybe
a long time.
4 years, I guess.
Yeah, maybe 6 or 7 years. And it really is an opportunity because this town is small, so we really rely on a lot of people within the community to help us out. And we publicize this, and this is really one of the few occasions that we actually got a request from sort of the outside, from the community. And we were quite pleased to actually get that request. And I got an email that came across my desk, and right now I would like to call up Louise Myler, please to come forward here and to get her a little attention. Yes, I will. So, Louise is 93 years young. And Louise is one of the founding members of the Fanwood Presbyterian Church's thrift shop. And she manages and works there every Wednesday and has been doing this for decades. And for those of you who haven't been to the thrift shop, you really should. It is a wonderful place that is run with really love and dedication from the area's women and men, and it is a place to go that people actually get things that they can use. And you know, I know that you are an inspiration to your 6 children, your 17 grandchildren, and your 21 great-grandchildren. That's a nice big family, and there's many of them that are here today. Your family loves you.
Thank you.
Your customers love you. The people that you work with love you. And I am just so thrilled that your daughter reached out to us and said, you know what, my mother has given of her time and energy into Fanwood, and she thought you would be a wonderful example of our Volunteer of the Month, and she couldn't have been more right.
Thank you.
Well, of course, and you know, you look wonderful at 93. I think we all should just give her a nice... And what we do, Louise, that we give all of our volunteers a picture of our train station.
Lovely.
And because we believe that this is the jewel of Fanwood.
Right.
It is something that when people think of Fanwood, they think of the train station.
Right.
And so we want to give this to you, and when you hang it up, you know that you'll think of us here, to
Right.
know that all the things that you've done for our community have meant something really special.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll get a little picture here, turn around, and we'll just get a picture right here. Here we go. We'll just go like this. Okay, we'll go like that. Thank you.
All I can say is thank you all, and volunteerism is wonderful. You get much more from it than you give.
You know what, no truer words could be spoken, and I think that that's actually what we hear. We hear that a lot from people that we honor every month. They actually say the same exact thing, that they get so much more out of it than they give, and it helps them, it enriches their lives.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. And isn't it appropriate now that we would actually be giving thanks to someone who has served this community for decades and we sort of segue into drawing a little attention to we have a handful of really wonderful young women that are here in the audience today to get their recognition on receiving the Gold Star Award, which is the highest achievement that a Girl Scout could make. So I would like to call forward the 4 girls that are here today. I would like to call forward Charlotte Peach, Megan Voorhees, Megan Costella, and Jessica Fugit, please. Come on, get on the camera, squish in, squish in, squish in. These girls here have been involved with Girl Scouts for the last 13 years of their lives. They started in kindergarten? In kindergarten. And they have gone on a path that has led them to this position, which not many girls do. I know for one started out as a brownie and then fell away. And as I was saying to your moms and dads that are here, I think what is so special about you guys is that as you grew up and were getting older, that you chose to stay with the Girl Scouts. And so many other things came across, your plate. Sports, maybe, academics, maybe working, maybe, and you're doing all of that, but Girl Scouts did something for you and decided that you were going to stay in it to the very end. And this is the recognition that each of you deserve. And I'm very glad that you were able to come here tonight. I know that Councilwoman Mitchell attended the ceremony that they had in my place, and I know she can concur that these are some spectacular girls. They each are going to get a proclamation today, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to speak for 1 minute on each of their projects, because their projects is what they have to finish to obtain the status of a Gold Star Award. Charlotte earned her Gold Star by developing and implementing a 7-week art therapy program at the Chelsea in Fanwood. And as you know, the Chelsea in Fanwood is where our senior citizens live at all stages of their lives. This program, guided by art therapists and art lessons, was tailored to the seniors by surveying each of the seniors. Lesson plans were then created, and they were presented to the Chelsea and 2 other of the assisted living facility directors for future programs. Charlotte, congratulations, and really, good job. Megan Voorhees. Megan earned her Gold Star Award by establishing Career Exploration Day for students of the Scotch Plains Fanwood High School. She recruited over 40 professional volunteers to discuss their careers with the high school students. The students were enlightened by this program, and it will again be offered in the future by the High School Student Council. Megan, congratulations. Megan Costello. Megan earned her Gold Star Award by partnering with the Scotch Plains Fanwood Education Enrichment Foundation. That's a foundation that raises money to give grants to teachers to create local music festivals. The EEF Music Fest allowed both students and adults from the Scotch Plains area to come together to share their musical talents. So Megan, congratulations. Jessica earned her Gold Star by organizing a health fair for the residents of Scotch Plains and Fanwood, and she had full demonstrations within the Grand Park. Full fitness demonstrations, health screenings, massages. She had over 30 vendors that were present to assist and to educate the public. Health and wellness information was distributed on a various number of health topics, and I have to say I was lucky enough to attend that day, and I have to say that the park was hopping with people all over the Grand Park. She had definitely 30 well-attended vendors that were there, and people left there and they were really happy. They left with a lot more information on I mean, I know I actually picked up a couple tidbits on health and wellness for my 3 boys, and so I want to thank you personally for that. But, you know, Jessica, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would just like to thank all my fellow Girl Scouts, especially my leaders, Angie Voorhees, Lisa Kocha, and Tracy Foley. They really have taught me everything, what it means to me right now, especially to be a sister. I find that most important, and I just want to thank them very much.
I knew that would come.
Okay. Moving on, we have several pieces of correspondence.
Want to wait a minute, man? Wait.
Sure. Okay, we have several pieces of correspondence that's in front of us tonight that I would like to move. And I'm not sure why Kenilworth sent us a resolution that they
I don't
rejected.
either, but I thought it was interesting.
Their planning, their zoning board. The resolution rejecting zoning changes proposed by its planning board.
Maybe think we're really interested in it.
There's a bordering town, I think. They don't even border us.
Maybe they're expanding.
Don't know. Okay, so we'd like to move a note and file.
Note and file, second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay. Okay, right now we're going to jump to our council reports, and we're going to start with administration and finance, where Councilman Levine will move the tax collector's report, and if anyone claims can update us on anything.
Yes, let me,
You wanna update us?
well, not much to update you on, but I do have the tax collector's report, which I will move, showing collections in the month of June of $406,360.
Okay, may I have a second on that?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And I also have a resolution for bills claimed, that there are claims in the amount of $1,333,547, having been listed on the bill list and recorded in the files of Borough Hall and approved by the chairman of the appropriate committee, be paid.
May I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, may I have a roll call for the payment of claims, please?
Daniel Levine,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Kevin Boris,
Yes.
Wesley Hugo.
Yes.
Tom Krantz.
Yes.
Jack Mullinger.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
I have nothing further to.
Moving on into public safety, Councilwoman Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me see, I have the police chief's report for the month of June. Let me see, there were a total of 991 calls. There were a total up to the 911 of 38. Motor vehicle stops for various violations, 472, and of that, 296 summonses were issued. There were a total of 21 arrests. Most of them were arrests on warrants, as usual. There were no juvenile arrests, and let me see, there were 18 crimes reported, 7 for harassment, thefts and larcenies 6, burglaries 2, criminal mischief 1, fraud 1, disorderly conduct 1. I spoke last time about, only because I think this is a safety issue, about Pilgrim Pipeline and whether, you know, they're trying to put a pipeline along the right-of-way that goes right through Fanwood. In last week's Times, if you read it, you will, it's a good explanation of what's going on. But you have two views of the same subject. You have the view of the Sierra Club, who of course is totally against it, And then, of course, you have Pilgrim Pipeline, who wants to put it through. So, of course, they are two very diverse opinions. Somehow we need to find the middle ground here. Whether this becomes an issue for Fanwood, I don't know yet, unless you all have really want us to do something about it. I don't know what we can do except pass a resolution and do some, make make it known that we do not agree with this. I found out that in reading the paper, which kind of upset me, is that this is to transport fracked oil, and I don't know that much about fracked oil, but other than the process of how they do it. But something that I read in the article is that France and Germany have put a moratorium on fracked oil, which kind of a little bit upset me because I, need more information on that. So, just so that you are aware that this is in the process. There aren't any permits yet or anything like that, but the oil is to be transported from Albany down to Linden, and currently it is being transported by train and by boat to Linden. So they feel that if they put the pipeline in, it'll be a much more efficient, cost-effective way for it to get there. But it will not just be one pipeline; it will be a pipeline going back to Albany with the finished product. So I guess it depends on how vehement the citizens of Fanwood feel about it, and how, when and if we pursue this issue. Let me see. The seniors don't meet for the summer, so I have no report for the seniors. The library usually doesn't meet for the summer, but they will have an emergency meeting next week, I think it is. Our poetry series, our cultural arts, they're off for the summer too, but I have to report that our the cultural arts have received a grant of $750 from the Fanwood Scotch Plain Service League, which they will put to good use. Adele will be able to maybe do a few more programs or pay her poets a little bit more than the paltry fee that we do pay them. So that's a good thing. And I think that's it, Mayor, unless somebody has any questions.
I'll just sort of chime in. I actually had a conversation today with one of the individuals from Pilgrim Pipeline. He had reached out to me, so I was going to actually bring this up tonight. What he is sharing with me is that this will probably be at least 3 years out from this discussion that they're having right now, and that they're going to be using the public service right-of-ways from Linden going up basically through Albany, and they'll go through probably 6 different counties in New Jersey to ultimately get to Albany, and it'll be a dual pipe that will be run. I shared with him our concerns. I shared with him the neighbors' concerns of what actually was going on. The stage that they're at right now is that Pilgrim Pipeline is an approved utility by the federal government. And they are working with the DEP, and that they have the proposed route, which they have shared with us. And at this point now, they're doing survey work. And the pipes would go into the public right-of-ways where the transmission towers are and where our natural gas runs as well right now. And the reason why they're coming onto the residents who backs up to the right-of-ways is that they have to almost draw a 200-foot circle in the right-of-way for the DEP, because the DEP wants them to survey if there's wetlands there, if there's any endangered species along this proposed route, what exactly they are seeing on the ground there, which in our case, because we have backyards that go up to the right-of-way, it's going on to people's properties who they will be reaching out for. So that is as far as it is. They haven't been on the ground yet. They don't propose to be on the ground doing any work, as I understand. for some time, but, you know, we will be the conduits of information for the community at this point. And I told him at some point he is going to come into the council and to speak to us about what they're doing as well.
I know that, Mrs. McGovern, which town up north passed a resolution against it?
Parsippany. Is it Parsippany?
Yes, I think Parsippany, and they did that basically on environmental grounds and public safety, so, you know, I don't know where this issue is going.
Yep, we'll continue.
However, I think we have the opportunity to get in a person who was more middle of the ground, and maybe they can answer some of our questions. So
Sure.
maybe we should take that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will go ahead and schedule that then.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on under Public Works, Council President Ugel.
Thank you, Mayor. We have our engineer, or our pinch hitting engineer tonight, Don Norbit, here for Peter, who's on vacation. You want to give the engineer's report, Don?
Certainly. Good evening, all. Peter's on vacation this week, so I'm here just going through your current projects on the July monthly status report for you. Starting with active construction projects, you know that the Glenwood Road Drainage Improvement Project is nearing completion. The underground drainage systems are in. The paving is nearly complete. We have some minor improvements to put some fences back up on some private properties. Some of that work has started. And pretty much the closeout and what we call punch list, which is a variety of small miscellaneous items that the contractor needs to come back and take care of, will be happening over the next several weeks. You have on your agenda tonight a change order for the addition of some paving on Tillotson Road. I know you've discussed that at prior meetings. The EIT has approved that as an eligible cost, as you know, and that work is being scheduled probably for the next 2 weeks, sometime in the next 2 weeks. And there's some miscellaneous system cleaning that was a part of the project that has to be done as well. Once that work is complete, we'll give you the final pay cert change order, and then we'll work with you and your CFO to get your remaining EIT funds back from the state. The second project is Hunter Avenue Phase 2 from Watson to Midway. That project is just starting construction this week, as a matter of fact. There was about a 30-day delay due to Elizabethtown Gas coming in and doing a main replacement, which I guess they sprung on everybody only a couple of months ago. The contractor's been cooperative. He has come in and mobilized and is starting work this week. And they are out there actually installing under drain this week and dancing between the raindrops, I guess. That project, as you know, has been funded by a DOT, $200,000 DOT local aid grant, and is scheduled to be completed sometime late September, early October. Vinton Circle is another project that you recently awarded to Fisher Contracting. That road improvement is the entire length of Vinton Circle. All new curbs are going to be put in, and road reconstruction and some minor drainage improvements will be taking place. That work was also delayed due to utility work. New Jersey American Water Company is continuing some of their rehab work in the southwest portion of the town, and they've told us that they anticipate the work on Vinton Circle is going to be completed in early August, mid-August, and then the road construction project can start.
Yeah, if I could just interject, we met with Mike Bainge from American Water, and we, the Public Works Committee that is, and we basically requested that he accelerate any main cleaning on Vinton Circle to occur like right away, because this is a, you know, it's an expensive project for us. We're doing a total reconstruction, and he was, you know, he accommodated us with that request. So we're going to get that done, and we'll get Vinton Circle reconstructed.
Yeah, and we'll get the project going early enough where it should be completed and wrapped up before the cold weather sets in, so even with a slight delay. Next project is what you refer to as a 2013 road program. That includes South Glenwood, Shasta, Second. A couple of roads have come on and off that list. Staggard has been pulled out and is being looked at separately to create a dead-end road. LeGrand has recently been pulled out, and the project has been amended and re-advertised, as a matter of fact, yesterday. So bids will be received July 29th for that project, but it will not include LeGrand because of water and gas company utility upgrades.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, Mayor. When we met with Mike Baines, he said he was not going, we asked him to get the cleaning equipment over to LeGrand too, because as you know, we had planned to resurface LeGrand too. I mean, that's a street that is in much need. And he said he couldn't accommodate, he couldn't get the equipment over there. So the Public Works Committee felt that rather than resurface it and only have the utility company come in there and invade the pavement every 200 feet, I guess, the way he was explaining it, it was better just to let them go in there and then hold off on resurfacing it for now.
And when you say hold on?
They're looking to come back in the spring.
Yeah, we might have to
May
wait until
next
next
year.
spring to resurface it.
Next.
Mhm.
Okay. We'll call it
What
this
was it?
week.
Yeah. It didn't make sense to resurface it, only to have it ripped up again with the cleaning project. But, you know, we have the money set, we have the money for it, we fully intend to do it, and that's, you know, we'll get it done eventually.
We have one road job that's under design right now, and that is Burns Way. It's also NJDOT funded project. You've got $250,000 for those roadway improvements. That's your fiscal 2014 funding. Our field survey work is done, preliminary design is done. At the recent Public Works Committee meeting, discussions were held about possibly widening the road or maintaining its existing 28 to 30-foot width. I believe there was a consensus that we maintain the existing width, approximately 28 feet, try to create a uniform roadway there, at the same time saving the trees, and you know, the beautification of the area would continue. That project is currently scheduled to be, the design to be completed over the next month and a half. We then have to submit it to DOT for their review and approval before we can go to bid, and that usually takes about 3 weeks. We could either bid it this fall and construct it in the spring, or we could possibly wait and bid it in February when the contractors are looking for their first job of the year, and you tend to get better bids at that time. So we would recommend you wait and bid it early in the year and start construction in the spring.
The other thing I wanted to mention about LeGrand is I wanted to have a meeting with the residents to explain all this and all of this about the water company. Because I know the people who live in that part, they've been waiting and waiting to have that road resurfaced. So,
LeGrand.
Yeah, LeGrand. So it's my intention to, Eleanor, we'll work together, we'll get a meeting.
You should, you
and we'll have Mike
send a
Baines
letter.
there.
You
We'll
should-
have Mike
yeah,
Baines
you should
there.
send a letter with what is happening and the reasons why, and then give them, you know, and then schedule a date, and then so
Yeah.
if they want to show up, they can.
Yeah, so we'll look sometime in August. I know maybe some people aren't around, but I guess I have Director Dixon's report just going into Clint's report for the month of June. Public Works Department was responsible for setting up the tables for the senior meeting, for their last meeting of the season. I was there, they had some very good food there, that was nice, it was a nice meeting that they had. They did the sanitary sewer inspection that the state requires. They provided assistance for the BPA street fair that we had in June, which was a very lovely day, I was there. It was a very nice time at the fair. And I would be remiss if I forgot the pothole report. The pothole report for the month of June included 64 tons of asphalt on the following roads: Forest Road, Portland, LeGrand, which we talked about, so even though we're holding off on the resurfacing, we're still tackling those potholes on LeGrand, Madison, Willow, and Kempshall. So as I said, it's 64 tons. The shared services that we provided for the school district was we cleared a blocked storm sewer at the middle school, Park Middle School, and then the county provided us with some welding at the, for a fence at the recycling center. So we are the provider and the recipient of shared services, and that's my report.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Don.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilman Molinar?
Thank you. Not a lot of things going on because it's summertime, which is a good thing. One good thing you might have noticed if you're going through downtown, the building is getting taller. The last floor has been framed out on the downtown building, the 4th floor. You're starting to see kind of what it looks like. The weird thing is when you're looking at it now, it's all one color, so it probably looks more imposing than it will look when it's done. If you look at the other buildings, it will not look like that. So when it's all just wood, it always looks much bigger and monotone than what it will look like when it's done. So keep that in mind. Construction projects are never done until they're done. And it'll look a lot better when they are done. Just think of your own projects in your own houses and you'll probably agree. Other than that, I have Environmental Commission tomorrow night, and that's all I have for my committee. I've been working a lot with Russ on Public Works. It's been very busy, because he needed the help.
Counting the potholes?
Counting the potholes takes a lot of time.
I know.
A lot of walking.
Councilman Barrs, we'll go over to you for recreation.
Thank you, Mayor. And Recreation, their last meeting was the same night as our last council meeting, so I didn't make it to that. But I do want to report on the Party in the Park, which by all accounts was our most successful party in the park. One way they measure how many people show up is how many hot dogs are sold. And this year they blew that number out of the water. They had to send somebody to the A&P to pick up the in the middle of the party. The movie series obviously isn't happening tonight due to the rain, but I have been to a couple of those with my kids, and that's a lot of fun. So anybody in our viewing audience, that those are Tuesday nights through the summer.
Ironically enough, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs tonight, yeah. My kids are watching it at home on DVD.
Sure.
Isn't the rain day tomorrow?
Rain day tomorrow, I think, yes. And otherwise, I'll give a larger report on recreation next month. Regarding the fire department responded to 23 calls in June, and I'll highlight 2 of those calls. On June 5th, they responded to Children's Specialized Hospital for a smoke condition on the 3rd floor, and the children were evacuated while the crews went through. The chief himself went and found a motor that in an AC system that had caught on fire, and they extinguished that and got the kids back in the building after 45 minutes. And then on June 29th, the fire department responded to a pickup truck that lost its fuel tank, resulting in 10 gallons of spilled gasoline, and we had Union County Hazmat come in to assist and help clean that up. There were no injuries in the fire department, and as I say, I hope every month, I just want to thank the guys on the fire department, or members of the fire department. They do a great job, and we do appreciate them. So that's my report for this month, Mayor. Oh, and then I was also, I'm sorry, I forgot, Historic Preservation. I missed their meeting last month, but they are working on what we'll be discussing soon at council is possible changes to the carriage house, the doors. And they've been talking about that there, so we will talk about it.
Okay, one of the things that I think we should bear sharing is that the town, along with the fire department, had put in for a federal grant for a new fire truck, and we spent a lot of time and energy on that grant. And I want to say it was for.
It was a big number.
I want to say it was probably maybe for 300,000, 400,000, and unfortunately we got denied. And we just found out we got denied. But I'm sort of, I was very disappointed in that, because I actually thought we had a really good application with good letters of support from our federal representatives, and we really actually have a need. So I am kind of interested to see who did get the money. That's like, I'll find out that tomorrow. But what that means is that the council in next year's budget needs to have a very serious conversation about the replacement of a fire truck. Because the one that we have now, I want to say is decades old, and it's probably past its usefulness. But because we have a good fire department that takes care of its equipment, just like our Public Works Department, we get a lot more life out of it than maybe other towns would. So put that on your radar as we look forward to what 2015 will share with us. And Councilman Krantz, want to wrap it up for us?
Thanks, Mayor. I have the Fanwood Rescue Squad's monthly report for the month of June. The squad had 53 calls for service in June, including 17 sick person calls, 11 altered mental status, 10 falls, 7 motor vehicle accidents, 5 respiratory cardiac stroke calls, and 3 calls listed as other. They went to Overlook Hospital 24 times, University in Newark twice, Robert Wood Johnson and Rahway twice, JFK and Union Hospital once each. 26 times they responded without medics, 9 times they called on medics for advanced life support. 7 patients signed off without receiving treatment. Excuse me, 2 calls were canceled. The total response hours were just shy of 172 hours. Average response time from time of page to time of arriving at the patient, just under 9 minutes. Total response miles, 584 miles were traveled by both ambulances. Oxygen was given 9 times. The squad rendered mutual aid into Scotch Plains 11 times and once into Plainfield. Other activities the squad were involved in included the Fanwood Presbyterian Church's check presentation of the money raised during the choir concert during EMS Week with Scotch Plains' Rescue Squad. The squad did standby at the Fanwood Merchant Street Fair and the high school graduation, and of course the party in the park. I don't think we're having a meeting before our next meeting is actually the night of the National Night Out, which is always the first Tuesday in August. It's August 5th, and that's usually a fun night at LeGrand Park. It's co-sponsored by the police department, the fire department, and the rescue squad. There's some rides and there's lots of food, and our vehicle will be there. The fire department has a fire engine there, and the police are there to answer questions. Next Board of Health meeting is August 1st, and that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the council on the reports? Okay, moving on, I'd like to open the meeting to the public for anyone that wants to come forward and talk to us about what's on our agenda tonight. I have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the public. If you come forward, just please state your name and address for the record. And escort.
Good evening. My name is Douglas Lane.
Excuse me, sir, would you please approach the podium and speak?
Yeah, right here, I'm sorry, right there.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Douglas Lane. I live on 1129 Lincoln Avenue in Scotch Plains. I am here this evening in connection with a letter I sent to the mayor. I don't know if you have received it. Yes.
I have it right in front of me here, and I have not read it, but I did get it.
The issue is simply... Okay. The issue here is really being able to use transit check parking to pay for your, I pay for, I'm a commuter, I work in New York City, New Jersey Transit every day, and use transit check, it's a federal benefit, and I use it to pay for my New Jersey Transit train pass. It helps defray, I use pre-tax money for that.
Okay.
They have a similar benefit for parking. And as a non-Fanwood resident, that is not an inconsiderable amount of money involved. Okay? But I was told that the ability of Fanwood's police department to process the transit check card is in question, and that's really what I'm here to talk about.
Okay. I do have your letter in front of me, and our attorney is here. I think the council has a copy. Let's see.
Yes, everybody
It's in
got
the-
one tonight.
I have a copy.
It's in the packet.
Do you have a copy?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say this is probably the first time that this request has come to us, or at least that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Is it? Really?
Can I just have a point of clarification? As somebody who uses that benefit myself, you can use the transit benefit for both the train and parking?
That is correct.
Separately, in two separate accounts?
The monthly limit for the train right now is $125 a month, down from the $230, I believe it was, last year. You can use up to, I believe, $250 a month for parking.
In addition?
Yes.
to the train.
The issue is that you don't get a paper check. You get a transit card, and I am told that it's anything that can process a prepaid debit card can process a transit check card.
And it doesn't work at the machine, the kiosk?
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about to buy the
Oh, okay,
annual,
right.
when you've gotta, be here first thing in the morning and.
For the monthly pay.
Yes, for the annual parking.
Right.
So that's really what
Oh,
I'm
I
here.
see, so that you
need a
could
credit
take
card.
that benefit and apply it
And use
for.
pre-tax
Right.
money,
Right.
$650.
So you-
Right. No, no, no.
it's a good
Like I
point.
said, it's a good point, it's the first time it actually has come to us, so,
It'll also benefit at least one member of council, so.
All right, self-interest is good.
It's relevant.
This is a good thing
More
here.
than one way.
All right, so, Mr. Lane, this is what I would tell you that we would do. Dennis Estes, who's our borough attorney, is right here, and just was given your letter. Why don't we let us figure out, the process that we have to do in order for the police department? Because I think that's
Okay.
where the,
Well, here's the thing, because I actually am gonna have a conversation with my employer's bookkeeper tomorrow.
okay.
And I want to basically leave here knowing that even if the technical I's and T's are not fully dotted.
Sure.
But if I come with good transit check cards, that they will be accepted, I'll get the pay. And sometime this fiscal year, that machinery will be in place. That's the understanding I'm hoping to leave here with this evening.
Well, I don't know if we can.
We can't make that
these
happen.
tonight. We just,
No.
we'll talk to our attorney and
We're
see what
certainly interested in supporting, but we have to find out if we can.
yeah.
Maybe I'm missing something. So just so I understand it, you want to be able to, what do we have to have in
A
place?
credit card machine.
Well, you have to be able to accept a prepaid debit
One way or
card.
So that
That's the
so
specific,
that the,
that's what their FAQs say. You
So
have
when
to be
he
able to
pays,
describe
so
it.
instead of giving us a check, he'll present a card of some sort.
That's
And
like-
we have to read that as money, whether it's through a credit
which I would
card.
assume we'll discuss, but we
Yes,
do
we will
take credit
discuss it.
cards and we do take,
Well, I was told that there were problems, which is sort of what prompted me to write this letter.
you were told that there were problems.
Problems in
With our credit
people
card
who
machine?
have come with these before have had problems.
Well, it's the first time I'm hearing that there was a
I'm
problem.
just relaying
Yeah,
what
no,
was.
no, and my,
This was brought by the police department, said that there were problems?
Yes.
Who, when you pay for the parking pass, who do we pay?
Whoever happens to
Please.
be,
they handle the money.
Yeah, for it today.
the police takes care of it.
They
Okay.
use our credit card machine that we have upstairs.
Right.
There's that.
Maybe it's
Oh, so
not-
it's just somebody there coming over and using
Yes,
the
well,
terminal?
well,
or the
we let them borrow it, so they use it for, and it's the
We
same
have
machine,
a-
they'll have to
We
find out.
don't have a telephonic one, we have one of those old-fashioned ones, do we
There's an
have?
issue with the
Yes.
transit checks because.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I
have
know-
it- we have-
I know that not
with a
every
phone
vendor
line
accepts
that-
it,
Yes.
So they're
Oh,
not
okay.
just like a credit card. Because I know that like some train lanes take them, some train lanes don't. So there's
Right.
an issue, and we'll just have to
Right.
see if we can resolve that issue here,
Well, at least now we know there's an issue, so.
which we didn't
Well,
know
and I think
before.
it would be in the benefit of the
Fanwood
people who-
commuters as well, all
Yeah,
of us,
all
right?
commuters.
Well, it
that
doesn't
come
cost,
out.
the borough doesn't lose any money as a result
No.
of
It's
it.
just
No,
processing
it's
it.
just
Just makes
whatever-
it easier on everyone and you save some money.
Right, it's pre-tax for
It's a
me.
pre-tax.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so I
I
could
used
say
to
that you
train.
could leave here tonight knowing that we're
I
gonna
don't use it
figure
for
out
parking.
how we can make this work. I think that's really where we are.
Fine,
And knowing
okay.
that if people had in the past problems with this, I'm sitting here 11 years and, I'm. I guess. So we'll figure it out.
Use it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
and frankly, I don't understand why it's not a lot more popular.
Right.
Well, maybe tonight it is.
All right.
Okay,
great.
thank you very
We'll
much.
get back to you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Lane.
Your employer has to sponsor you. Yeah,
Focus of the employer.
yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Let me think about it.
Anyone else wish to come up?
Interesting.
I hope we can do
Okay,
this fast.
if not, I'd like to have a motion to close the meeting to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move on under old business. Councilman Levine, you have 3 ordinances that are for second reading, public hearings, please.
Yes, I call for second reading ordinance number 1411R and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance amending salary ordinance number 13-16S of the Borough of Fanwood to mandate direct deposit.
I move that a public hearing be held on said ordinance.
Need a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I call for second readings, I call up for second reading ordinance number 1412R and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also...
No, you have to have the public
We
hearing.
have to open,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you just opened the
Just
public
open the
hearing.
public hearing.
I
Somebody has
apologize.
to ask.
I
That's it.
apologize.
So now I'd like to call forward
That's
any
in
members
I
of the
apologize.
public
I
that wish to
apologize.
make a comment on the ordinance that is in second reading regarding employee direct deposits. Seeing if there isn't any, have a motion to close the public hearing.
So,
Second.
All in favor? Aye. There you go.
No.
All right, now, okay, I move that the hearing be closed now.
That's already done.
Yeah.
You want to move on?
I move the ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, be published as required by law.
Second.
We have a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Dan Levine,
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Russell Hugo.
Yes.
Tom Kranz.
Yes.
Jack Molinar.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now I'll call for second reading ordinance number 1412R and request...
No, first you need the public hearing.
yeah, for a public hearing.
No, wait, I'm sorry.
No?
Second
Yeah.
reading.
Go ahead, for second reading. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's a second reading here.
Go ahead.
I call it for the second reading, ordinance number 1412R, and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance granting renewal of municipal consent to Comcast Cablevision of New Jersey II, LLC, to construct, connect, operate, and maintain a cable television and communication system in the Borough of Fanwood, New Jersey.
Did somebody second?
Second.
Did somebody second? I'll second.
Second, okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call forward any members of the public that wish to make a comment or ask a question on the amending the Comcast ordinance number 99-19R. Seeing that there is anyone that wishes to come forward, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
And I move that this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, be published as required by law.
Okay, may I have a roll call?
No, you need a second.
Second, have a roll call?
Daniel Levine,
Yes.
Russell Hugo.
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Tom Kranz.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jack Molinar.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I call up for second reading ordinance number 1413R, and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
Just a second. An ordinance amending Chapter 252 of the Fanwood Borough Code relating to solid waste collection District Number 1.
I'll second.
I'd like to call forward any members of the public that wish to come forward to discuss amending the solid waste ordinance. Seeing that there isn't any, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
I move this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, be published as required by law.
Stop.
Sorry? What?
Okay, no, your motion was fine.
Right.
Yeah,
You just need a second.
Second.
Now stop. I have provided the clerk with an amendment to this ordinance. Do you have that available, Eleanor?
Well, it's as another number. I was going to introduce it as another number.
Oh, so you're going...
It's later on. It's later on in
So-
administrative finance.
That would...
We
When
weren't
I...
going to amend this ordinance. We were going to amend it, but through another ordinance.
As opposed to amending this?
Yes. I didn't know you wanted to do that.
Because what I...
All right.
I think it's easier to do it by amending this
Together?
ordinance.
Okay.
That'd be
It's,
1415
It's here
R.
under,
It would just be an amendment, it wouldn't have a number.
okay, Okay.
Here it is, so that must mean that's this.
Yes.
So how do you want me to amend it? What should I?
I would just move to amend sections 1, 2, sections 1 and 2. The other sections are not changed.
And should I read it in at all, or?
No, everyone has it here in front of them, so.
Okay, so,
Let me just
say that again, Dennis, just go.
hold on, let me get the amendment in front of me. Okay. What we're doing is we're amending section 1 of ordinance 14-13-R and section 2 of ordinance 14-13-R. Section 3 has not changed. Section 4 is not changed. Section 5 is not changed. And the rest, section 6 is not changed. And 7, 8, 9 are not changed. So.
All right, and what in essence does 1 and 2 do?
The changes in 1 and 2, number 1, it provides for the number of receptacles that one can bring outside at the night before the collection and then have to bring back. And it also has the size of those receptacles. That's the primary change in section 1. As it relates to section 2, that provides for the borough to be providing enclosures if they so choose, and it says may, not shall, and we've talked about the enclosures that you've talked about, and it provides that if in fact the enclosures are one or more enclosures are installed, the borough will then make an application to identify scavengers, and property owners will, on a voluntary basis, be allowed to enter into an independent contract with the scavenger, not by the borough, not paid through the borough, not anything like that, if in fact enclosures are provided. And if people don't want to utilize it, they're not going to, and they're not going to have to pay the scavenger.
Well, they'll have to pay a scavenger to pick up their garbage anyway.
That's different. I'm not talking, I'm talking about for the central receptacle.
Yeah.
The enclosure, rather.
So the result of all of this is that the commercial tenant is responsible for the removal of their own waste.
Yes.
And we are simply regulating, to some degree, the type of container and the placement of the container.
And the only other thing is, we are providing this area, this enclosure, and we are identifying and selecting the scavenger who would be taking away if a property owner wishes to utilize that process, because there are only room for 3 or 4 of these roll-offs, and you can't have every single property owner entering into a contract with 12 different scavengers.
Good.
And again, this doesn't allow, the ordinance doesn't allow for the roll-offs outside of the stores, right? That prohibits.
That's right.
Just the containers,
Just
the
the
cans.
containers that would come in and out.
Okay. We need a second for the amendment.
Second.
Now you just, the amendment, since it is a material amendment, you're making a motion to hold a public hearing on the amendment. That should be it should be a motion to
Can I move that?
move the amendment and set out a public hearing on the amendment for August. I don't know what the date is in August.
Okay, just a moment, I can find my page here. August 17th, is it? 18th?
Okay, you're making me look.
The next meeting?
The next meeting, the next regular meeting of the mayor and council.
So we'll have a second reading on the
19th?
entire ordinance.
August 19th.
No, it's on the amendment.
Just on the amendment.
We've already had the public hearing on the basic ordinance. After the public hearing, you will, assuming you will then vote on the amendment. Assuming the amendment passes, you will then vote on the entire ordinance as amended.
Okay.
August 19th.
Okay.
We all need to brush up on our Robert's Rules of Order.
That was a tricky one.
That one was a tricky one.
It's July.
Okay, so, where are we?
I think you need a vote.
Oh, yes.
There's been a motion and a second.
Right.
On the amendment, it's a voice vote.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're stronger.
Wow. That wasn't tentative.
We're on to public safety.
So I think your work is done. All right, Councilwoman Mitchell, you are moving one ordinance tonight on LoSAP.
I call up for second reading ordinance number 14-10-R and request that the clerk, having produced affidavit of publication, also read the ordinance by title.
An ordinance amending Chapter 34 of the Fanwood Borough Code relating to the Length of Service Awards Program.
I move that a public hearing be held on said ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call for any members of the public that wish to ask questions and make comments on this ordinance regarding the LoSAP, Length of Service Award Program for our fire and rescue squad. Seeing that there isn't any, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I move that this ordinance be adopted on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, be published as required by law.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Oh, roll call. Okay.
Catherine Mitchell,
Yes.
Russell Hugo.
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Tom Krantz,
Abstain.
Daniel Levine,
Yes.
Jack Molinar.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mayor, just as go back for a minute on the ordinance that was amended. Am I correct, Mrs. McGovern, that some sort of communications has gone out to the property owners? There should be a communication
We had to-
advising them
well,
that
we had to have
after August 1, you're not providing any further scavenger services back there.
Well, we know it goes into effect August 1st, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, that's 2 weeks. And they're not even around for vacation, so, I mean, we've got to...
I sent a letter. Anybody look at it?
Not me.
Okay, I'll send it again. And
Okay.
we'll see what it is.
Oh, and was that the letter the mayor asked to hold up? I don't remember.
That was the first one.
Oh, that was the first one, okay.
Thanks, Dennis.
Send it again and I will review
Okay.
it.
Okay, under new business, Councilman Levine.
Yes. Forgive me, my paper's a little out of order, but I'm going to do my best. I will move resolution 1407-111, which is a liquor license and renewal to the Fanwood Ale House.
You can just do the
No,
first
no.
four
You can
by...
do that
Can I do the
on
first
consent.
four by consent?
One through
Yeah.
four.
Then if I could,
One through four.
They're all part of the
then if I could move by
Consent agenda.
by consent agenda, resolutions 1407, 111, 1407, 112, 1407, 113, 1407, 121.
Second. I'll move in the consent agenda.
Yes. Voice.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't believe we're doing item 5.
No, we're not. We're not. Not until Mr. Levine and I have a discussion.
Okay, so we have
Fine, that
a
can
motion
wait.
to
Can I have a
remove it.
motion to, what am I just removing from the
To
agenda?
remove it from the
Sure.
agenda.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'll move ordinance
No,
1450.
it's resolution.
I have
Number six.
I have ordinance on number 6.
Are we doing that?
Oh, we did that.
Number
We
six.
just,
That was
that was
done
the
already.
one we just did for.
That's what we just did.
Oh, that's right, we combined that one,
Just
correct.
take
That's
that
what we
off.
just combined,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I move resolution 1407, are these consent or no? These are money to them now. I move resolution 1407-111, which is involving the Clean Communities Grant.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Daniel Levine?
Yes.
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Krantz?
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Jack Molinar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I move resolution 1407-115, involving Hart Grant Trust Fund.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Daniel Levine?
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Tom Krantz?
Yes.
Jack Molinar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I move resolution 1407-116, which is an award for contract for brokerage services for dental and life to Brown & Brown.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Daniel Levine?
Yes.
Russell Hugo?
Yes.
Kevin Boris?
Yes.
Tom Krantz?
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell?
Yes.
Jack Molinar?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I move resolution 1407-117, which is a tax appeal settlement with MJC at South Avenue LLC.
Second.
This is for 1 year, 2 years?
2 years.
2 years, man. 2,000, actually more.
Could it not be 2012 and 13?
We're paying for 2 years.
Right, you're paying for 2 years, but it actually settles 4 years.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay. I had a second, may I have a roll call, please?
Daniel Levine,
Yes.
Russell Hugo,
Yes.
Kevin Boris,
Yes.
Tom Kranz.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jack Mullinar.
Yes.
Motion carried.
On that, Dennis, do you know why do we have 2 resolutions on the same appeal? Are they different years?
It must be different addresses. Wouldn't be different years.
Oh, they're different properties.
They are
yes.
different
They're
properties.
different properties.
I knew it wasn't the years.
Okay, I couldn't figure out what the difference was. Okay. I move resolution 1407-118, a tax appeal settlement with MJC at 274 South Avenue.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Daniel Levine,
Yes.
Russell Hugo.
Yes.
Kevin Boris,
Yes.
Tom Kranz.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jack Mullinar.
Yes.
I wish he was that nice to me.
All right, thank
There's
you.
always next month.
Our last 2 pieces of official business is under Public Works. Councilman Hugo?
Thanks, Mayor. Move resolution 14-07-119. This is as Don referenced earlier in the evening, authorizing change order to the Glenwood Avenue project to pave Tillotson Road.
Okay.
Second.
I have a second. Roll call, please.
Russell Hugo.
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Tom Kranz.
Yes.
Daniel Levine.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Jack Mullinar.
Yes.
Is this the first change order we've had on this project?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And then lastly, I'll move resolution 14-07-120. This is authorizing contract for the construction and administration for the reconstruction of Vinton Circle.
Second.
Okay, may I have a roll call, please?
Russell Hugo.
Yes.
Jack Mullinar.
Yes.
Kevin Boris.
Yes.
Tom Kranz.
Yes.
Daniel Levine.
Yes.
Catherine Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Okay, great. So that ends our meeting, our regular scheduled meeting. With that, I'd like to open up the meeting to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'd like to call forward any members of the public that wish to make comment to us. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
Michael Lewis, Wayland Beach Avenue in Fanwood. Just a couple of things. I've already said my piece with regards to the skateboard park, but I got caught by a bit of procedure, and I just want to clarify something. And you can all jump in at any time here, because I'm just trying to follow what's going on. Presumably internally, monies have been segregated off to allow the Recreation Department to send this out to bid. What's the final word on whether the bids are actually reasonable or whether it should be sent out? Is it the Recreation Department or is it the Borough Council?
Council.
The Borough Council.
Okay, so basically, things will come back to the Recreation Department,
Sure.
they'll come back to you, and then you'll sign off and approve?
Sure,
Okay.
we're the ones that will oversee through Pat Hines at our office, who's our purchasing agent, sort of, all of the bids and the quotes and the specs and all of that. The Recreation Department works to give us what they ultimately want, and then we have, professionals working with them to come up with the specs and the scope of work to go out to bid to get uniform prices.
There will be an estimate by an engineer or someone on behalf of the borough who says this should cost X dollars. And if it ends up costing Y dollars, which is greater than X, then there's a problem.
Okay, well, I'm presuming at this point that it's 241, and maybe the bids come in at around 220 or something. And who has the final word on that? It's the Borough Council?
Yes.
Okay. I want to take a moment to follow up on embedded pedestrian crosswalk signs on the Grand at 2nd and at 3rd. I'd asked about this a couple of meetings ago. I know it had to go to the county. Has anything been done with that? Is there any progress on it?
No, I don't know.
Where, Mike? Pedestrian crosswalks?
LeGrand second, and LeGrand in third.
Maybe we were gonna do it when we did the Second Street. Maybe we were gonna put that in at the same
Okay.
time.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
okay.
So we're doing Second Street, yes.
Yeah, it's going to get paid.
Okay. And lastly, I want to ask about staggered plays. I use that as a cut through to the A&P all the time.
That's the reason they want to make it a dead end.
Exactly. But how far along
This
is
was
that?
not a good meeting for you, Mike.
No, it's
LeGrand is not getting paid.
Yeah,
Much
no,
to
well,
my
you had an
disappointment.
explanation for it.
Right, yeah.
You had an explanation.
There was just with a preliminary conversation had in the
Yeah.
Public Works Subcommittee.
Okay, so there's nothing definite on that as
We
yet?
haven't, no. As a council, we haven't discussed it as a whole. It's being discussed within a committee form as a possible, something to look into in a recommendation.
Okay.
And when it comes up, it'll come up here.
Okay, very good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay,
Motion to close the meeting to the public?
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that actually ends our meeting tonight, and we will have some council comments for anyone that wishes to make them, and I'll start with Councilman Levine.
Thank you, Mayor. I really have no comments other than to wish everyone a good night.
Councilman Boris?
I just wanted to say thanks to the library and their summer reading program. My daughters are really enjoying it. I've also been to a couple of the little programs they have weekly. I think a couple of weeks ago we went to go see Dr. Gravity, and he was hilarious. So thanks to everybody on the library, and everybody who hasn't been to one of those programs, take your kids, because it's really worth it.
Councilman?
I hope everybody's enjoying their summer. I'm enjoying mine, and I'll see you next month.
Councilwoman?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I just want to say some things that went on during the beginning of this council meeting, if you were with us then. First of all, I'd just like to wish Captain White, he has retired after 30 years of service to the borough of Fanwood, so I just would like to wish him well. And of course, we have now a new police officer, so hopefully he will be here for 30 years also. I won't be, but hopefully he will be. And also you saw the mayor award resolutions to 6 Girl Scouts who had achieved their gold award. When they were presented with the gold awards, I stood in for the mayor at that ceremony. And it kind of struck me that these young ladies are our future, and I didn't at least see anything printed in the paper about the achievements for these young ladies. We hear and see on the news and in the newspapers all the time about, the kids out there who are up to no good, and I do think that these young women should be praised out in the public. I have asked the people who do our things for us to please make this part of their what they send out to the public every Friday. So hopefully you will read about them. These young ladies are our future, and if our future is in their hands, we're in good shape.
It's a good idea.
Enjoy the rest of.
It's a good idea, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I was really kind of upset that there wasn't any publication about it.
Right.
And I think next year, if I know about it in time, I will kind of make sure that somebody's there to record it.
Good. Councilman?
I'd just like to urge everybody to come out to the National Night Out. It's Tuesday, August 5th. There will be fire and rescue squad apparatus out there for tours. There's food, there's a bounce house. It's a nice thing to do on a summer night. See you then.
Councilman?
My wife and I went to the party in the park. Now, we are childless by choice, so that's typically something that we wouldn't do. So I told my wife I wanted to see Frozen, and so I was one of the we were a couple that didn't have any hot dogs, Kevin. So we were there too, so there was other people there. So those of you that may not have kids, it is a very fun night out to go see a free movie in the park. And a movie like Frozen was a lot of fun for us because every single kid sang along the whole time and acted out the whole movie. And I don't think there's any better way to see Frozen than to see it with all these kids around you. So if you haven't done Party in the Park and you don't have kids, you could, it's a good time, and you know what? You could always go to a local establishment afterwards for a drink afterwards. With that, have a wonderful summer, enjoy the movies in the park. Thanks.
An adult beverage. So we had a really nice meeting tonight, as Councilwoman Mitchell has said. It was good to honor a longtime resident. It was great to welcome a resident onto our police force. And it was really great for those young girls who live in our community to get recognition as well. I will share with you, because she sat up here for many years with us, Councilwoman Donna Dulce, who sat up here for 2 terms with us and retired and moved out to Delaware probably less than 2 years ago, I'm going to say. Recently lost her partner. Lynn Sorf passed away. And Lynn was actually born and raised in Fanwood and went to the Scotch Plains Fanwood High School. And for all of us on council, we knew Donna and Lynn, and is someone that I think just bears a moment for us to remember Lynn, because she really gave a lot to this community as well over the decades that she lived here. So, and with that, I will say a fond farewell, and I'd like to have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we'll see you in August.